Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to Dead Malls, your one home for the coziest and most in-depth mall tours, and everything history related. In tonight's episode, we finally get to the first bando of Season 7. A true adventure, as on a crisp autumn morning in August of 2024, my friend Ethan and I, go sub to his channel if you haven't already, he has some insane abandoned mall tours. We met up for the first time, exploring and documenting for the first time in history the abandoned Lakeshore Mall in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. A small forgotten mall hidden on the north side of a small city. A creepy dark cavern that harks back to the days of Sandburg Mall. As we explored, and as you'll see when we tell its story, it was haunted by dozens of ghosts, who made themselves known several times throughout this video as wisps of light dancing up and down the corridors. Before we go any further though, I'd like to take a moment and shout out our winner, who was able to successfully guess the next mall. Very nice job, Josh YouTube1. If you'd like to have your chance of being shouted out in the next episode, stick around for the next challenge. Anyway, let's dive in, tell the story of Manitowoc's forgotten and now demolished Lakeshore Mall, formerly known as the Edgewater Plaza, a mall that helped build a community, once one of the finest shopping centers along the lakefront, only to fall victim to abandonment. Let's take a look at what the mall was like in its final state before its demolition in August of 2024. If we're going to tell its story, then we're going to have to start at the very beginning of this whole adventure. Leaving at midnight, I drove around 4 hours to meet Ethan in the middle of the night in the parking lot of the abandoned Northridge Mall in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our plan was to originally sneak in and experience a morning in Northridge, one last time before its own demolition. Despite our efforts though, the mall was heavily secured and patrolled, and we were unsuccessful. As the sun slowly crept over the horizon, signaling a new morning, I knew our time was running out, so I suggested that we check out another abandoned mall. Just over an hour north, this one almost unheard of in the dead mall space. Upon pulling up to the mall for the first time, we thought we were cooked, as it seemed busy with some activity. This is when we first noticed that the mall was finally being demolished, after sitting abandoned for half a decade. You could call it lucky timing, I guess, as they must have started by gutting the old Prangieway anchor, because the entrance was literally just ripped out, and only hastily covered up by a small gate. Thankfully, a red truck sitting out front left, and we hopped a fence, finding the mall to be sitting in a frozen, ghostly state.
Oh, there's one of the mall entrances. That's true. There's a bathroom. There's the electrical room. It's so quiet in here. This is crazy. What?
The mall's story begins almost 50 years ago, as it was first conceived by a man by the name of Daniel Wergen Jr. in 1978. In the small but slowly growing blue-collar lakefront town of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, the Edgewater Plaza, as it would be known, was Wergen's first major mall-type project constructed by his company, Maritime Properties. Construction quickly began in May of 1978, with an opening planned for the following spring of '79. As the $5 million, 200,000 square foot mall took shape, many in the area wondered if it was even the right move, as the new Edgewater Mall would open just across the street from the already well-established Mid-Cities Mall, which itself opened in 1968. Before Interstate 43 connected the lakefront cities, a smaller Highway 42 once connected them all, and was the primary artery of transport along the lakefront, hence the location of Mid-Cities Mall and the new Edgewater Plaza. To be anchored by Prangies on one end, Prangy Way on the other, and Sears in the middle, whom were moving from their downtown location, along with several smaller shops opening inside, it seemed as though the mall was destined for success. And while work and plan for both malls to complement each other, this isn't what really ended up happening. Instead, both malls fought for a customer base, a factor which would ultimately kill both of them in time. But we're getting too ahead of ourselves. As the mall's opening neared, eager cheeseheads waited for their turn, for a second and slightly more modern shopping sensation than that of which sat on the other side of the street.
Oh, this was a jewelry store, maybe. I don't know. The eye care place. There's the old Regis. You can still see the label scar, kind of. That's kind of sick. Yeah, I mean, that is their old 80s storefront. Oh my gosh, it's untouched on the inside. Everything is still here. All the windows aren't smashed or anything. This is crazy. What the heck? I love the bathrooms with the flower prints and the ladybugs. It's kind of funny. It's really cool, actually. Is this one of the same? Oh, there's a storeroom right here. It's like it hasn't even been touched. Everything's just dusty and old. Like, that's so bizarre to me. Breathe it in. Let's check this out. Yeah, there was. It's right where that blue tiled storefront was. Yeah, I wanted to check what this was, though. This looks kind of cool. What is back here? There's into the old Sears. Look at the bottom of the ceilings or the bottom of the walls were all like torn out. What the heck? What the heck is this place? What does that say over there? Wizard's Kingdom?
Wizard's Kingdom.
What?
The whole bottom part is literally just chocolate.
Yeah.
Shit's hanging out by the ceiling. I just showed it the end.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
One of the other entrances. What's that say? Celebrating my birthday. Wizard's Kingdom.
The hallway's right here. Oh, here's the mall doors.
On March 1st, 1979, the mall's first official anchor, Sears, would open their newest store in Wisconsin, anchoring down the center of the mall concourse. And despite days and days of digging in newspapers, we weren't able to find an exact grand opening date for the mall itself, but it only makes sense that it would be any time after March 1st, due to Sears opening inside of the mall. Earlier newspaper ads tout the mall as being complete and open by a month early in March of 1979, so Who knows? Maybe March 1st was their first day. Regardless, stores to slowly open and deck the brand new mall included those like Big Dipper Ice Cream, Western Corn Dog, Zales, Thought of You Card and Gift, and Stevenson's, with several more promising to light up the halls by that summer. The halls themselves weren't anything too grand and spectacular. In fact, the mall was just about what you would expect out of a small-town Wisconsin mall. Burnt tile colors flooded the courts with beautiful designs mimicking an old street front, fake trees and small planters, and fake skylights all dotted the courts, with the mall itself lit up daily by an army of fluorescent lights. Prangies would hold their grand opening as the mall's second anchor on Thursday, March 29th, 1979, with Prangy Way, the discount version of Prangies, opening on the far end shortly after. For a time, the two malls on the quiet north end of town were a powerhouse of commerce, but that would all change. The north end would get much quieter as the malls would quickly fall off. Just 2 years later, the new Interstate 43 would open, shifting traffic far away from the malls and completely resetting Manitowoc's retail hub.
Really? Was this management?
This like very old schematics of it.
Oh yeah.
Before
Whoa.
the name change.
Lakeshore Mall. Oh, look, there's the Yonkers. They never got around to putting the new logo up because it still looks old. What?
2006 Xmas decorations.
It's also Merry Christmas. I wonder what year that was. 2000. Well, yeah, 2000. That's funny. Oh, wow. I have no clue what this was. Oh, it's a tanning salon. The floor is all warped. Oh, yeah. The chill spot for you. And cigarettes. Are these unopened? Oh no, they're all used up. I was about to say. It's disgusting. Ew. Oh, somebody touched my head. I was a liar. Ooh. It's both. Okay, so I haven't seen one of these since
That's what I saw in the picture recently.
Mountaineer in West Virginia. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is crazy. No enter.
If you haven't yet been creeped out by something in this mall, then just you wait, because there are many more terrifying backrooms yet to see. Which me and Ethan both just felt so compelled to explore for some reason. I felt like any of these nooks or crannies like the Glory Hole, that if I looked into them, I would stumble upon some sort of crime scene or a dead body or something. This mall just gave me the heebie-jeebies, and having Ethan there definitely helped, but without him, I definitely would not have been exploring all of these backrooms.
It was like something ripped off each of these spots. It was like a mirror or something. 13. Put it best. There's so many walled off storefronts. You can tell where stores used to be. That's creepy. With all the original carpets. No, they really didn't. Wow. I guess this wouldn't have been their largest store. It's kind of surreal seeing these carpets all like raggedy and torn up. Oh yeah, fitting rooms. Take a look at that. I like this mirrored little area.
If this isn't the most 1970s department store you've ever seen, then I don't know what is. From the orange burnt colored shag carpets, all of the retro colors and old designs, there was just so much to be loved here. It's very clear that once Yonkers took over after Prangies, they didn't really do a whole lot with this store.
It's brown. No, I think it's just a one-story Yonkers. Oh no, I think, yeah, this is pretty much the extent of it. It's a pretty small store. This brown carpet is really unattractive. Not doing them any favors. The pink room. Snowman. We meet again, Mr. Snowman. What? Oh, there's a lot of bullets.
Oh, snap.
Oh, dude, that's kind of freaky.
You got a lot of bullet wounds over here.
They kind of trickle in. Dude, that is so creepy. That's like a horror movie scene or something. I don't know about walking on these grates. They're kind of spooky. It's super, super smelly. There's not even any mold or anything anywhere. It's kind of crazy, actually. Ah, there's a little bit of mold.
Stores to open following the grand opening and into the 80s included those like B. Dalton Bookseller, Regis, Tom McCann, Musicland, and Brooks Brothers. By 1982, both malls boasted healthy directories, but the opening of Interstate 43 just a year prior in 81 would see all of that dramatically change. Beginning first across the street with the aging Mid-Cities Mall, Montgomery Ward, one of its largest tenants and biggest pulls, would pull out, closing their doors in 1983, beginning a downward trend of stores either closing and relocating to Edgewater across the street, or just closing and leaving the north side altogether. Manitowoc's new retail hub, now on the west side of town, still on Highway 42, was quickly popping up as more strip malls and retail outlets sprouted up, further drawing away foot traffic from the two malls. Aside from a new Deb and a few mom-and-pop stores setting up shop inside of Edgewater, the mall slugged even through the 80s. The newest addition to either of the malls after their completions, aside from name changes, was the addition of a Hardee's in the Mid-Cities Mall in the mid-80s. But Mid-Cities only further struggled as the 90s began, with the slow days creeping over to Edgewater, signaling what was to come. In 1990, Hallmark opened a new store in Edgewater after closing their Mid-Cities location, and in 1992, the Prangies name would be bought out by Yonkers. Prangies would officially be rebranded to Yonkers, reopening on October 29, 1992, while Prangieway continued operation as normal for several more years.
These are creepy down here. This reminds me of a nursing home I explored. It was just like this. Yeah, same here. Look at the droopy ceiling fans. I wonder if this was like the employees' room at one point. It says employees only. Yeah, that's the vibe I get. Look at the checkerboard ceilings. It's pretty cool.
Look at this. Yep.
There you go. The Yonkers furniture sale. Last days of semi-annual.
You get yourself
A new ottoman? Oh, if only they were still in business.
Division in Yonkers, store number 461. Today's date.
Oh,
2007.
wow, that's pretty sweet. Terminal sales audit emblem. Just like a fat wad of cash. These brown pillars is really cool. Was there anything in there? Oh, whoa. Look at the floor. It's like is that the foundation that's been ripped up? Yeah, look at the tiles been taken away. And then this is the concrete foundation and that's literally just dirt. Like sand. What the heck? There's so many unanswered questions in this place. Oh yeah. Wonder if it still has the neons inside of it. I like the door for the service hallway. It's very elegant. The windows. Yeah. I'll close it back up. I know, right? It's like unnaturally large. They had to get it custom built for this place.
In April of 1995, the inline mall tenant On Cue Books, Movies, and Games would officially open their newest store in the Prangee Way wing. Specializing in the likes of selling merchandise that the former Musicland, which had closed a few years prior, would have once sold. However, Edgewater continued to struggle despite new store additions here and there. The small mall simply lost too many of its core stores by the mid-90s, only further cemented when Prangee Way, one of the mall's largest anchors and draws, closed in March of 1996. The space would never be reoccupied. Sears, another major draw, would also close that year, ceasing operations months later on May 19, 1996, leaving the small Yonkers as the mall's sole remaining anchor. And it seemed as though it wasn't just stores abandoning the mall around this time, but management too. In the early months of 1997, original mall owners Maritime Properties, whom had been owned by an investment group called Source Capital since 1982, had failed to make several payments on the property, and they would sell the mall to Dial Properties, finalizing the sale in August of 1997. By then, the writing was already on the wall though, and it had been for years. Edgewater Plaza was on borrowed time.
Ooh, there is some mold in here. Plant is like trapped behind the door. There's more plants. There's so much like kitchen stuff here out in the mall concourse. Must have been a restaurant or something.
In fact, unknown to us, this spot was formerly the location of the mall's only restaurant-type tenant over the years, the Snackery, which has been around forever, and I guess they just sort of left all of these old boxes and kitchen equipment inside like they were supposed to come back one day, but never did.
Let's get you some better over here. Lakeview Mall. You know what it's called? I don't think we saw this. With the mirrored ceiling? What is this? Almost kind of looks like an arcade. Oh. This chain fence has gotten messed up. Oh. There's... Is this the...
Keys right here.
The eye care place?
In 2000, the almost completely vacant Mid-Cities Mall, later named to Lakeview Center, officially closed in 2000. In July of 2000 alone, the only stores listed in Edgewater were Yonkers, Sterling Optical, On Cue, Regis, the Snackery, an arcade called Wizard's Kingdom, and a bank and a real estate agency. That was it. It wasn't looking good in the 2000s. Despite another new batch of owners based out of Brookfield buying the mall in 2000 called MLG Commercial, it would only get worse. Originally, it was hoped that JCPenney, inside of Lakeview Center, would move over to Edgewater. However, that never happened. Instead, two tenants to be evicted and moved over to Edgewater Plaza were two nail salons, Fancy Nails and Shades of Paradise. As the years went on, the abandoned former Mid-Cities Mall sat lifeless for over a decade, like a giant concrete corpse sitting in some barren, forgotten sea of parking, quickly becoming a pretty spooky-looking abandoned mall on the inside. A shocking look into what the future had in store for Edgewater.
Coffee. Oh, the coffee lab. I like the hanging light fixture here that's it's like about to fall out of the ceiling. What year? 2011?
2011, that's...
That's when the coffee lab was still in business. I feel like all of the employees of this mall had really nice bathrooms. For real. I think the hardest thing here is this old bookstore. You can see where the Sam Goody used to be.
There was one point while we were walking through here where me and Ethan both got split up for a time while we each recorded different old stores. But when I was actually on my own in here, in the darkness, it was terrifying. As the dead silence surrounded me and became deafening, I could hear every single little sound off in the distance, my own heartbeat, and I could physically hear the beads of sweat dropping off my own forehead onto the ground. That's actually how quiet it was in here. An experience that I will definitely never forget.
The time of this mall is forever 9:44. Those are fake skylights, I'm guessing. Kind of like Sandberg's. This bookstore is so cool. Yeah, the ladders probably haven't even been touched since they closed. Like, that's so cool. Magazines.
Considering this was all going to be thrown in the garbage anyway, I really should have climbed up one of those 40-plus-year-old ladders and tried to take one of those B. Dalton nameplate boards. Seeing those was just the cherry on top of this whole visit, and I genuinely don't think that there will ever be a time again that I see B. Dalton naming like that. I mean, I've been in old B. Daltons since this mall, but none will ever compare to the retro state of Lakeshore's. I mean, seriously, does it get any more 70s than that?
Three generations of Howard Decker will forever be a part of this store. Howard, Dale, and Christian. Huh. It's like a little display case in the back. Dude, everyone in this mall had their own bathrooms.
On Thursday, July 11th, 2002, Sam Goody would officially reopen in the spot of On Q, after a slight makeover, somehow sticking around as the only tenant in the old Brangyway wing for several slow years. In 2003, some good news finally graced the structure as a California-based investment company called Expansion Commercial LLC bought the mall in April of 2003. For just $1.1 million. They would bring in several new mom and pop stores under their leadership, such as Bella Diva, Diva Fashions, Lynn's Apparel, and Green Tree Gifts, along with the return of Sears, whom would reopen in their old location that summer. However, the biggest change under new ownership came with the mall's new, short-lived name. The Edgewater Plaza would officially become the Edge Lake Plaza for several years, a name change that I'm sure just brought people back in flocks.
Check out some of these stores. I think this place is pretty worth it. Yeah. Look at these like gold plaid fluorescent lights. They're so cool. These ones are like about to fall off any day now.
And now I'm just going to leave you guys with just a little bit of raw audio. No music, just the dead silence of the mall as Ethan walks off into the distance with my super bright flashlight, and I take his. We take a quiet, dark walk through the creepy mall.
That's so creepy.
There was something oddly prophetic about seeing this abandoned Yonkers with bits of the label partly ripped off. The giant U quite literally felt like the mall was speaking to me, as if Lakeshore was trying to reach out one last time before its inevitable death. It felt like something you might see out of an indie horror game where the empty mall slowly collapses around you. I mean, this place surely felt like it was.
It's crazy. Are those waters still?
Yes, those waters were still full, and that's where the term abandoned mall water officially comes from. Now, I've never been that desperate myself to drink abandoned mall water, even though they're in sealed bottles that are kind of grimy, but still, they're sealed bottles. I've never been that desperate myself, but there have been a few malls, especially when we start to go down south, where I have been close, because these abandoned malls just get so hot on the inside. Despite the rebranding, Edgewater Plaza remained a moribund mall. It simply couldn't escape its long-standing decline. In 2005, ownership would switch hands again, with the mall going to a company called Lakeshore Mall, LLC. And then in 2007, yet another new owner emerged, a Madison-based entrepreneur named Steve Elkind, who acquired both mall properties with ambitions to redevelop each in distinct ways. The most prominent change under Elkind came that same year, when the mall underwent yet another renaming, this time to the Lakeshore Mall. And aside from a blue paint job, a gleaming new sign was erected, proudly announcing it as the new Lakeshore Mall. The reality? A rather underwhelming roster of fewer than 10 operational stores. Situated across the street from an abandoned mall and barely perceptible from the main road, the Lakeshore continued its slow descent into obscurity. One of its final recognizable tenants, Sam Goody, closed in 2008. Most of the other remaining mom-and-pop establishments shuttered shortly thereafter. Elkind's original ideas envisioned the demolition and redevelopment of the aging Mid-Cities Mall across the street. With JCPenney remaining as the standalone anchor, Lakeshore Mall itself would be getting a facelift, hence the renderings that we saw in the mall office. However, all of these revitalization plans ultimately fell through. Instead, JCPenney ceased operations in January 2011, leaving the former Mid-Cities Mall fully abandoned and rapidly decaying.
It's chilly over here.
Sears would remodel their small format store into a Sears hometown in 2013. However, as one of the only remaining stores in the entire structure, which sat vacant and depressing most days, they too wouldn't last. Sears hometown, one of the last remaining stores in the mall concourse, closed in early 2015, dumping Lakeshore a second time in its life. And without Sears, the remaining businesses, an audiology clinic, an eye care place, and Wizard's Kingdom slowly closed over the coming years. In 2015, the Mid-Cities Mall, after sitting abandoned for over 15 years, was finally torn down, with fate looking to catch up with Lakeshore in the same way. Most days, the mall just sat quiet and hollow, The occasional mall walker may have buzzed up and down the hall from time to time, but that was literally the only business, if you could even call it that the mall got. Yonkers on the west end was practically the only thing keeping the structure open at all. Actually, they really were, as it was reported around the end that Yonkers would be the ones opening their gates, as well as mall entrances, for the mall walkers, of course. However, they too would abandon ship with the Bon-Ton store's bankruptcy, closing as the last operating anchor in March of 2018. After Yonkers' closure, the last inline tenant, a seasonal bridal shop, was evicted shortly after, and the mall silently closed in March of 2018, sitting abandoned and forgotten about on the north side of town for several years. Eventually, the parking lot became overgrown, and all of the entrances were boarded up after some vandals broke in the early 2020s. By spring 2024, the city of Manitowoc and Mayor Justin Nichols had rightfully had enough. In May of 2024, the city would buy both sites, immediately planning demolition for the former Lakeshore Mall. Demo work would officially begin in August of 2024, starting with the interior, which would be slowly gutted over the course of the year. This was right around when we went, just before they had gotten too far with any progress. And quick progress it was, as by the beginning of 2025, Lakeshore Mall's interior was fully gutted, and over half of the structure was already gone. In March 2025, demolition would be complete, and the sites would be raised for future development. According to Nichols, over 40 homes and several apartments will come to fill this land, beginning work by the end of 2025. But that catches you up history-wise. As of September of 2025, I'm not sure exactly what work has started, if any at all, so if you live in the Manitowoc, Two Rivers area, let me know in a comment down below. What's going on at the former mall site? I will say, while it's nice to see these areas redeveloped and not sitting abandoned as an eyesore, it's still sad to see those memories of the malls washed away into new single-family housing units. But I'm glad that we were both able to get out here and document it one last time. Do you all have any memories of the former Lakeshore Mall / Edgelake, Edgewater, or even the former Mid-Cities Mall? Let me know down below. Folks, I want to take a moment to thank those of you that have stuck around and watched all the way through tonight's episode. If you enjoyed the Lakeshore Mall just as much as me, hit the like button, and if you haven't yet, subscribe so that you don't miss out on future videos. And consider checking out the Patreon for sneak peeks and exclusive content. As me and Ethan tour the parking lot and even get some drone videos, I'm gonna let the rest of this echoey tune play out. One last ballad for this now demolished mall. But it was, for a time, even if it was never meant to be, a beautiful little mall. In the next episode, be sure to join in as we finally leave the Midwest, traveling down south to begin our southern binge of abandoned malls. First though, we tell the story and tour a mall that isn't abandoned yet, but sure feels like it is. With a dead carousel in the center court surrounded by palm trees, guess which mall we'll be at, and I'll shout you out in the next episode. But until then, take it easy, have yourselves a lovely evening, enjoy the rest of these video clips, and peace out guys. See you later. So I guess all of that is the original.
Yeah.
Oh, you can screenshot this?
Yeah, I can screenshot, record.
I didn't know this thing was so awesome.
Let's see what we just did.